I'll have some for you in the car tomorrow.
All right. So, guys, if whoever doesn't know yet, yes, I'm going to Arlington. Yes, fucking Bill Stegall's picking me up, and I'm going to his pad. We're fucking hanging out, doing the damn thing. And oh man, this is just kind of surreal because Bill, let's be honest. I think even before, or maybe when I started the podcast with Forrest, you were somebody I instantly thought about. But I was terrified of the Chondro community then, man, because I just didn't know. Like, I knew you were like, listen, you don't do stuff for the attention. Like, you're not on your stories. You're not somebody who like you focus on your following to get you by in life. Like, you've been established with what you've been doing for a very long time. So I respected that. I'm like, all right, this guy, for one thing, he's Facebook heavy. He's not Instagram heavy. I just didn't really know how to approach somebody like you because you're I feel like you just can't be bought in certain ways, man. Like you can't be faked out almost. Not that I wanted to fake you out, but I still wanted I wanted to end your friendship somehow, right? But I never bought a Chondro off you. I didn't know the Chondro community. From what I understand, Chondro community was fucking stuck up motherfuckers, but then I also know the ones who were like worthy of, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. If I'm all over the place, I'm sorry, but
No. Oh, well, listen, I'll just kind of retort. I knew you through the cold-blooded cafe family, Forrest and Dez, they were like my family, and Steven. Yeah. And so I knew of you because you were close to them. And, so I'm just super pumped. We're going to finally get to meet face to face tomorrow.
Yes.
The Chondro community is a good community. I still remember when I entered the Chondro community, that was back in the day of this was before Facebook, or maybe right when Facebook was coming out. But you had the MVF, the Morelia Viridis Forum. What the fuck's a forum? Half the people listening have probably never even gotten onto a forum. But back in the day when I got into the Chondro community, that was where you went, and it was very formal. Like, when you went on to the MVF, you had to make a formal introduction. You couldn't post until you posted an introduction. I'm Bill Stegall. This is my first post. I want to get my first green tree. I've kept carpet pythons, ball pythons. And I was so nervous. I was like, no mispronunciation. All my punctuation had to be correct, And then I found out that it's just an awesome community, man. You got the best support out there. There's no bullshit. We call out hosers when the hosers are out there. Yeah. But it's a very supporting community. And I think you probably know that now. You've been, you've produced green trees now. You know enough to know that it's a legit community.
It is. Yeah, you know what? And you know what's funny? There's enough legitimacy for you to focus on versus the non-legitimacy, because that's one of my habits that I'm tend to break out of is I look for the people trying to give advice who shouldn't be giving advice. You know what I mean? Like those little bits. You know what I mean? But those are everywhere. And to people, with all due respect, I mean, there's I don't know. I feel like it really depends on what your focus is. And if your focus is on finding legit fucking information and sticking to that, then all the other shit really doesn't matter. And that's what I'm starting to learn now. I'm finally starting to fucking pick up on that, to where no matter what you say or do, there's always going to be the outsider input. You know what I mean? But for instance, if I'm able to talk to Bill straight up, like this is what matters to me, is information coming one-on-one versus what's inside comments and shit. Yeah,
I agree 100%. And even in the day of social media, there's still great info out there, man.
There is, dude.
You may have to dig a little deeper, but there's still really good info out there.
Man, honestly, it's like I kind of I got excited. I got excited when Forrest got excited about starting a podcast, because I was like, all right, cool. This is going to be good because I get to meet people that I've never even heard of. Like, Forrest had all these fucking people in mind, and I was like, who's that? Who's that? And then they would bring up people on podcasts, never even heard of them before. That was my excitement. But now the excitement is not only getting these people, but getting people who normally you have to go fucking, you got to know people to know this type of information. You know what I mean? And it's now getting out on the podcast. It's now getting out there where people don't have to dig as much. And I feel like that's been the biggest reward, is having people who, like I said, Bill, you're not on your stories every day. You're not on Instagram. Knows what your day-to-day is every day, because you don't promote your life like that, like Instagrammers and YouTubers and shit. Like that's obviously a big part of the hobby now. That's a style of a hobby is collecting reptiles. That's not what you do, right? Because it's not, how long you been doing it?
Well, I'm a YouTube guest. Like I have a YouTube channel. I think I have like 5 videos on my YouTube channel, but basically I'm just a guest. And
a well-known guest.
Yeah, I mean, it's what I enjoy. Of course, I love promoting my passion, just like you do. Yeah. And, going back to your podcast with Forrest, I think you figured out the best way to learn about something is to start a fucking podcast.
Yeah,
that's what I did.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, I mean, it's fucking. But the thing is, if it wasn't for Forrest, I don't think I would have had the legit balls to start a podcast because. Like I was saying earlier, I'm still green in this hobby. Fuck, what do I have? Like just under 4 years under my belt. But this is 4 years of every day. This is my life. You know what I mean? Like, I literally said fuck everything else, and I'm gonna do this to the fucking core. You know what I mean?
Dude, you're the Joe Rogan of reptile podcasts.
Yeah.
I mean, what podcast are we on right now? Is this Unfiltered? Is this Trap Talk? Is this
Trap Talk? We're on Trap Talk.
Okay.
This is the laid back fucking Yeah, it's Unfiltered's laid back too, but with Steven and Dez, I can't mispronounce species. I got to be so on my cues, or I get roasted by them. And here I'm in my element. There I'm like, fuck, I'm with Steven and Dez. It's like a brother and sister thing. It's pretty, but it's I wouldn't trade anything for it in the world. I love that they're a part of it. And Dez, she's a huge captain of the team, man. And
of course.
Yeah, man. So it's all good things, and like I said, it's so surreal because now I have somebody who I was trying to figure out how can I reach this guy and earn his respect. So now you're on my show, and then now I'm gonna fucking hang out with you tomorrow, man. And it's like what? Like
I can't wait, man.
Can't wait. So, guys, Bill, like I said, Bill has it down with the royal pythons, which is the ball pythons, and the chondros. Chondros is the meat and potatoes of this podcast. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. So let's talk about the royal pythons first, if that's okay with you, Bill. You produce some really gorgeous stuff. I believe some candy lines and whatnot. I've never seen really any kind of albinos the way you produce them. So let's talk about the projects you're with ball pythons and how that got started with you. And first off, I want to know if it was ball pythons, then chondros, or chondros, then ball pythons.
Okay, awesome. And I'm glad you referred to them as royal pythons. Do you want to know the backstory of that?
Please tell me the backstory. I only said it because you've been saying it, so I'm only just, you know what I mean?
So I've been involved with ball pythons for about 20 years. Ball python was the first snake I got, first thing I bred, probably in the late 1990s or maybe 2000. And shortly after that, I got into carpet pythons. I was a big carpet python breeder for a decade. And the carpet python guys would always give me shit about keeping ball pythons. They're like, why do you keep ball pythons? Ball pythons, the only guys that keep ball pythons, they do it for the money. They're a bunch of fucking douchebags. All they care about is the money, And so, of course, that did nothing but amp me up to even post more ball pythons and keep more ball pythons. But as just an inside, just tongue-in-cheek joke, I said, well, the people that keep royal pythons, are not like that. And so I just started calling them royal pythons. It's just in your face, tongue-in-cheek kind of thing. But anyway, That's why I call them royal pythons.
All right. That's okay. Now you getting into them in the mid 90s, right? This is mid 90s. You started collecting or breeding them.
Late 90s, and really I was kind of late to the reptile party, all things considered. In 2000, I was 35 years old. I got my first reptile right around that time. I had always loved reptiles as a kid. Sharks, reptiles, and dinosaurs. That's what I loved, and particularly snakes. But my parents would let me have a snake, in the house when I was a kid. They were like, here, we'll get you some fucking red eye slider turtles. You can have those. And I'm like, I don't want any fucking turtles. I want a snake, And they wouldn't let me have a snake. So I go my whole youth without having any snakes. So, but anyway,
yeah.
So, fast forward like decades later, I'm out of school. I've established my family, and my son in like 5th grade has a ball python in his classroom, and he goes, "Dad, I want to get a snake."